The right click, sometimes called the command click, is one of the most valuable and powerful gestures on your Mac. You've probably heard about it. I bet you even think you know the best ways to use it, but you ain't clicked nothing yet. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the right click to simplify just about everything I do on my Mac. Stick around. I got you covered. I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer, and in this video, I'm going to show you my best right-click tricks that will help you perform magic on your Mac like you never thought possible. Make sure to stick around for my MacWhisperer power tip at the end because I promise you, it'll be love at first click. And if you'd like to follow along without taking notes and scrambling to keep up with me, scan the QR code on your screen or hit the link in the description below to download your free Smart Guide. Smart Guides are visual PDFs that walk you through everything we're going to cover today. So now, let me show you how to do it right. Right click, that is. Before I start right-clicking left and right and everyone goes, wait a second, Dylan, how did you do that? Let me give you a few foundational pieces about how to right-click on the Mac. You can right-click on a mouse where you're going to click on the right side of the mouse, which is pretty obvious, but you can also right-click on your trackpad. Most people think when you want to right-click on a trackpad, you've got to click on the right side of the trackpad, but that's not actually the way it's made on the Mac. The trackpad has such a nice large surface that you don't want to minimize your clicking just to one corner. As a result, on the Mac trackpad, whether it's an internal trackpad or an external one like this one, you're going to click on your trackpad with two fingers at the same time to get that right-click action. Now, to make sure everything works perfectly, let's hop on over to System Settings and confirm that you've got your settings right for your mouse and for your trackpad. Hit on your Apple menu and come to System Settings. Come down on the left side to the very bottom where you'll see your mouse and trackpad section. If you're using a mouse, click here and confirm that secondary click is set to click right side. The default for most Apple mice is to have it off, but for this lesson and just in general, I recommend you leave it click on right side. And if you're using a trackpad, click here and confirm that where it says secondary click, it's set to click with two fingers. The other thing that we need to talk about before we get started is the difference between a click and hold and a click. If you come up to your menu bar and you click and hold your button down, the menu opens, but as soon as you let go of the button, the menu disappears. This causes a lot of frustration when people are trying to get into a menu and it keeps disappearing on them. If instead of clicking and holding, you just clicked on the menu would stay open for as long as you needed to, allowing you to leisurely come in and pick whatever action you want to off that menu bar. Well, the right click works in the exact same way. If you right click and hold, when you let go, it disappears. But instead of right clicking and holding, if you just right click and let go like this, it stays open. It's not called the right click and hold, it's called the right click. So all you want to do is right click, and then you can leisurely go through the contextual menu and intentionally choose the action that you're trying to perform. Trust me, as we work through things today, the simple right click and release will pay dividends right off the bat. So now, let's click on into it. For our first set of right-click gestures, let's hop right over to the desktop. There are a handful of right-click tricks here that give you a great bang for your buck. The first one is changing your desktop background. All you need to do is bring your cursor to any open space on your desktop and just right-click. Right here, you'll see an option to change the wallpaper. Click right on that, pick a new wallpaper, and presto changeo, you've got a brand new view of your entire desktop. Super simple. Let's try it again. Right-click, change wallpaper, grab a nice Tahoe day like that, and call it a Tahoe day. Simple and easy. Next up, if you're not using widgets on your desktop yet, you're missing out. And here's a great way to start. Right-click anywhere on your desktop and choose where it says Edit Widgets. That pulls up your widget screen where you can grab a photo widget or maybe a widget that keeps track of the batteries of your Apple devices, or maybe a calendar widget. Once you've set up the widgets you want, click the Done button right here. And if you want to get rid of a widget, guess what? Come to it and right-click and choose Remove Widget, just like that. That makes it easy to pull information right onto your desktop or get rid of it with just a simple right-click, just like that. Next up, I could use a little bit of help with this mess of files all over my desktop. So let me show you a quick way to do it with a right-click. Come to any open space on your desktop and simply right-click and come to where it says Clean Up. As soon as you do, it'll move all the files around so that you can see all of them clearly and there's not quite so much on top of everything. You can even clean up in specific ways by right-clicking and popping down to where it says Clean Up By and choosing to clean up by name, which alphabetizes all of your files, or clean up by kind, which puts things in PDFs or documents or things like that. It's a super easy way to organize your desktop without actually having to move the files around yourself. But it's really just the opening act for my favorite right-click gesture of the desktop. That's one called Stacks. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to right-click on my desktop again and come down to where it says Use Stacks and just click right on it, just like that. When you use the Stacks option, it takes all of the different items on your desktop, except for folders, and it stacks them up in different ways. You'll notice here all of my spreadsheets got stacked up. If I click on the stack, it opens them and shows me whatever's there. If I click on the document stack, we see all of those documents. And from here I can open up, move, delete, rename any of these files, or click back on the stack to simplify and clean up my desktop even more. Using Stacks is a great way to organize your desktop without actually having to organize it. Now, it doesn't get things off your desktop, it just allows you to see them in an easier way so that you can move around and find what you need quickly. And there's an extra power tip to the Stacks functionality on the desktop as well. Right-click again and come down to where it says Group Stacks By, and you're going to find different ways you can stack things. I'm stacking them by kind, which separates PDFs and spreadsheets and documents. But I could change that stack around by right-clicking, coming to where it says Group Stacks By, and choosing something like Date Created. Now everything's stacked up by what was created today, these files here, versus what was created in January, or February, or April. Simple and easy. But if you've set up tags on your computer to help you organize your files, right-clicking and grouping your stacks by tags is probably the single easiest way to organize all your files using the MacWhisperer's 5-folder fixes. Here, all of my MacWhisperer Academy files are in one place, while all of the files that I share with my wife are in one place, and all of my financial files are in one place. It's easy to tag any file or folder on your Mac by clicking on it and, yeah, you guessed it, right-clicking and choosing from the tags down below here. As soon as I click on any tag, it organizes it into that tag stack. So now, instead of staring at your chaotic desktop with all of its files, one quick click and you're stacked up, organized, and ready to move on. The Finder is one of the most important parts of your Mac, and you're in it all the time. It's where you manage your files, your folders, and it's how you find literally everything on your computer. That's why mastering the right click in the Finder is absolutely critical. Let's open a new Finder window by clicking on the Finder icon on our dock right here. Make sure you're on the icon view. You can change your view by clicking here, and you can use the right click through any of the views, but for what we're going to talk about, the icon view is going to be the simplest explanation of how to use these functions. So first and foremost, let's start with an oldie but a goodie, how to create a folder. A lot of people come up to the menu bar up here. Some people come up to the File menu and come to New Folder. But you can right-click in any open space on a Finder window to create a new folder just like that. Boom! Clickety-split, and you've got a folder right there. And if you want to get rid of something, right-click and dump it right into the trash, just like that. Creating a folder by itself is awesome, but it's not the best right-click maneuver you can do. Because if you come in and select a bunch of items and then right-click on any one of them, you can create a new folder that contains all of the items you've selected, just like that. It automatically names it New Folder with Items, and you can come in and give it any name you want. When you're selecting items and right-clicking to add them into folders, you're saving an entire step by going right into the folder creation rather than making a folder and then dragging things into it. Both options, the new folder or the new folder with selection, happen with a simple right-click. Now, let's talk about how we open our files. Many people open files by double-clicking on them. No problem, easy to do. When you double-click on a file, it opens with whatever the default program is for opening that file type. When I double-click on a picture, it opens up right into Preview, which is Apple's native image and PDF opening application. But I might want to open one of these files with something other than Preview. Maybe I'd like to work in Photoshop or Canva with it. All you have to do is right-click on any item, and where it says Open With, select any of the options here. I can open right up into Photoshop, or into Canva, or into Photomator. And when you're working with a Microsoft Word document, you can right-click and open that up with Pages, or with Microsoft Word, or with Canva, or even with other apps. Which brings us right to our next tip. Because sometimes you don't want a document to open with that default app ever again. In this example, this is going to open up into Microsoft Word. If I double-click on it, I gotta wait while Microsoft Word slowly gets its act together and then opens up. But I stopped paying for Microsoft over a year ago, so that's not really gonna help me out. It's just gonna mean I've got an extra step every time I wanna open that document. Instead, you can right-click on a document and come to where it says Get Info. This opens up a super helpful info panel that has options, including the choice of what you're going to open something with. I can change this from Microsoft Word to Pages, and then if I click where it says Change All, it'll turn Pages into the default app for Microsoft Word documents from here on out. I click Continue, and now if I come over to any other Microsoft Word document, it just opens right up into Pages just like that. And one of the other things that happens in the Finder all the time is that you need to rename something. You can easily rename any file by right-clicking on it and choosing where it says Rename. But the real power tip happens when you select a bunch of documents at the same time and right-click and come into Rename. From here, you've got a ton of options to bulk rename those files, whether it's renaming them with a format like the name and the current date, or the name and an index number, or whether you want to replace the text in the title with a different text, or whether you want to add a specific piece of text to every single name that you've got selected with just a click. And you can add text either before a name or after it. And all of that can be done with a simple right click and selecting Rename just like that. And for our last Finder tip of today, you can come to any document in the Finder and right click it and come right down to where it says Share to send that document instantly to email, text, into apps like Notes, Reminders, or Freeform. And in many cases, you can either send a copy or even collaborate, which means you can easily right-click on a document, come into the Share section, collaborate with anyone on it, and avoid having to use Google Docs entirely for collaboration. That's right, it's hidden right under the right click. And you can share multiple items at the same time. So you don't have to go into your email app and click the new message button and click the little paperclip. You can actually come to any file anywhere in your Finder, select it, right click, share it right here, and pull all of it into email just like that. So all of the right clicks that I've shared so far are pretty powerful, but this next batch are like superpowers. These are tips so powerful that most people pay third-party apps and high subscription fees just to be able to do them without realizing they're built in on your Mac and hidden under the right click. So if you've ever come across image files that say HEIC like these ones, you might know that Apple uses the HEIC format instead of JPEGs on the iPhone because it's a higher quality image with a smaller size. But unfortunately, Windows and Android devices and a lot of websites can't properly take advantage of the HEIC format. So a lot of people have to take this format and then change it into a JPEG one way or another. There's a lot of crazy ways people do that and a lot of third-party apps that charge you for it. But if you simply right-click on an HEIC image and come down to the quick actions and choose where it says Convert Image, it'll change it to a JPEG just like that. One simple right-click and no subscription fees. And there's another really cool trick inside that same right-click. Come to any image, right-click, and come down to Quick Actions, and you can immediately remove the background of any image. Now all of a sudden I've got a perfect image with no background that I can use in Photoshop or anywhere I like. All you have to do is right-click, Quick Action, remove background, and boom, there you go. And that's a pretty cool trick. But this one blows it away without even trying. Sometimes you need to take multiple documents and turn all of them into a PDF, and that's just not easy to do. Or is it? If you select a handful of documents like this and then right-click on them, you can come into Quick Actions and create a PDF of all of them just like that. And now you can open up that PDF and you can even rearrange the pages or delete any pages you want with just a simple click. And all of that is done by selecting the items, right-clicking on it, coming down to Quick Actions, and creating a PDF just like that. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you've got to send someone a ton of files, and it's too big or there's too many for you to email them, no problem, select all of those files like this, and then right-click on any one of them, and come right down to the compress option, and boom, a zip file you can email easily. And this last one is a genuine showstopper. You can come into anywhere on your Mac, whether you're in the Finder or in an application, right-click and come down to where it says Import from iPhone or iPad. And as soon as you do, any of your devices that are nearby will show up in this list. And you can take a photo with one of them that will be imported onto your computer, scan a document into a perfect PDF, or add a sketch just like this. And all of a sudden, it's on your computer without having to airdrop it, email it yourself, text it yourself, or wait for it to synchronize. I'm not kidding. That import from iPhone or iPad may be the most helpful tool of any of the ones we're talking about, and all you need to do is barely lift 2 fingers and come into the import section. How's that for a pretty amazing magic trick? So as you can see, the right click is a powerhouse of hidden functionality. But there's just one more thing we need to talk about. If you're already beside yourself with how many amazing tricks are hidden underneath that simple click, give this video another simple click right on the thumbs up button. That makes it easier for other people to find this video, and it goes a long way. And if you've got a question, a comment, or an unbelievable right-click trick that you want to share, drop it in the comments section. I love to hear from you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, now's a great time to do that too. Click that subscribe button and that notify bell so you'll always be alerted whenever I drop new content. And now, you know what we haven't right-clicked on yet? We haven't right-clicked our way right into the power tip. Trust me, this power tip is a complete game changer, and no one's talking about it. It's called Autofill, and it is without a doubt one of the most powerful uses of the right click that I've ever found on the Mac. Here's the situation. Sometimes you're in email, or you're in text messages, or you're in Safari and you need to grab some information. Maybe it's a phone number, maybe it's an email address, maybe it's even a password or a credit card. Now sure, you can go open up your Passwords app or go look up your credit card or pull out the address book. But what if you could solve all of those situations with a simple right click? So here we've got an email where my buddy Reggie is once again asking for a favor. He needs my Netflix password and the phone number of one of our good friends. So let me give him the information. I'm going to hit the reply button here on this email and come right into the email to give him the password. Now under normal circumstances, I'd have to go to the Passwords app, search up the right password, copy it, and paste it into here. But with a right click, I don't need to do that. A simple right click and I come down into the autofill section here and I choose passwords. Now all I have to do is pick the password I want to give him and click on it, and it puts it right into the email for me. Let's try that again with my friend's phone number. A simple right click, autofill contact, I search for the person and click on his phone number, and presto, it appears right in the email. And while we're at it, we might as well give Reggie my credit card so we can buy everybody a bunch of pizzas. Right click here, back to autofill, this time over to the credit card section. Find the right card and click insert right here, and presto changeo, he's ready for that pizza party. So the next time someone asks you for a phone number, a password, or a credit card, you don't have to go running around trying to find it. Just a quick right click and drop right into the autofill section. So that's what we've got for today's video, all about my favorite right-click tricks all over your Mac. If you haven't grabbed your Smart Guide yet, now's your chance. Hit that QR code or click the link in the description below so you can capture all of today's magic without scrambling to remember it all. I hope you learned a ton today, but remember, there's always more to learn. Check out this video over here for even more jaw-dropping Apple tips and tricks. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and I'll see you in the comments.